On first sight, this video may not seem to be about Carnivore or our camper van. It's definitely not anything about our camper van, but with Carnivore there is the idea that you should ground yourself. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going for a nice walk with nothing on my feet. At the end, I'll tell you how many steps I did. I tell you what, it flipping surprised me. So today I am doing a bit of grounding. As you can see, I am walking along the beach without anything on my feet. What I was hoping to do was to walk in the sea. However, I'm in Weston-super-Mare, and as hopefully you can see, the tide isn't quite close enough for me to walk in. Now, anybody who's not familiar with Weston-super-Mare will not know that it's very muddy out there. So until the tide comes into about here, it's a little bit dangerous to walk on. So I'm not going to be lucky with that today. I am walking from Nightstone Pier, and I'm going to be going all the way over there beyond the pier to uphill, and then I'm going to come back again. A little bit of exercise. I'll let you know how many steps I've done when I get back. And of course, I'll show you anything of remote interest on the way. The building in front of us is Weston College. Weston College campus is quite sprawling. That's not just the only part of Weston College. There are different little departments of it just behind their different areas. There's also a massive college campus out beyond there. It's quite a big college-y type town. So if you're liking the area, Weston-super-Mare might be a nice place for you to come and do your college-y stuff. This little thing just below the college, nearer to right on the seafront, that used to be a block of toilets, and they've turned it into a cafe. Personally, having a very weak bladder, I would prefer that they'd have kept it as a set of toilets. Over here we have the Winter Gardens Pavilion. It's probably one of the nicest buildings in Weston. There's a lot of Victorian buildings. I don't know if that is Victorian. I think it's more 1920s probably it was built. Don't quote me on that. But it's absolutely beautiful inside. And of course we have the Grand Pier. This one hasn't burnt down yet. I think we've had 2 complete burning down of the Grand Pier. I don't like this one. It's a little bit too modern for me. I liked the old one. I like oldie woldy stuff. Nightstone Island there, where I set off from, used to be a swimming pool, and previous to that I believe it was a mental asylum. It's now luxury apartments, and trust me, it costs a blooming fortune to rent a place up there. Look at the hillside. It's absolutely lovely. Loads and loads of Victorian properties up there, and we've got churches coming out of our a-hole. They're all over the place. I'm not sure how full they are on a Sunday, but go them. I'm pleased to say that the part where I'm walking is still very wet. So it's nice to have that cooling water on your tootsies. I think there's a fair chance that the tide might be a little further in when I come back, although I'm not sure, because if it's wet here it's probably just gone out. Maybe I'll have a look at the tide times. That'd be a brilliant idea. Well, it's going to be high tide in 2 hours and 45 minutes, which means by the time I've walked it uphill, it should be in far enough for me to paddle through it on the way back. And now we're coming up to the underneath of the pier. Now, it's nice to get a bit of shade because it's quite a hot day today. I mean, nothing too terrible, but oh my goodness, the water's really cool under here. I'll show you. Look at the structure. I love it. That's beautiful. Up this end, it's probably quite dark for you. It might be better actually on the replay. Up there at the end, a huge amount of unexpected babies have been made of a weekend. Trust me, I know it's true. Not me, but there's plenty of fornication going on up there of a weekend. Over here, ooh, hello. Over here, we have one of the sets of donkey rides that are available. I blooming love donkeys. I wish I could have one. And then we have the Western Eye. Been on that. It's quite fun. It'd be better if it went faster. Be more thrilling. And then over there, stop focusing on my finger. Over there we have the other set of donkeys. Out in the bay we have 2 nature reserve islands. I've always wanted to go to both of them. The one that you can barely see, I'm going to focus on my finger again, just there, is Flat Home, Holme, and that one there is Steep Home. Sorry about the wobbly photography, it's just me and I'm not a tripod. And I'll try and get Flat Home for you. Oh, it's here somewhere. It's very difficult to see through the oh, there she is with the lighthouse on her. Oh, that's much better. I can see that better through the camera than I can with my eyes. Yeah, I'd like to take a boat trip out to those one day. I've only been here 30 years. It might be more than 30 years. I've only been here 35 years and I've never been. I should put that on my to-do list. And this outcrop of land is called Breen Down. It's an absolutely fantastic walk. You can't get to it from this side. You've got to drive all the way down there about 10 miles and then come back up, and then there's a car park. I think it's a National Trust car park. You park in that and then you can walk all the way up there to the end, and on the end you can look round a fort.
and it only looks tiny here, but it is quite a big fort, and it is a very interesting walk around. I really love that walk. It's one place I have managed to get to. Well done me. And this building here is what used to be Weston-super-Mare's Sea Life Centre. I personally was quite excited about that because I've been down to the one at Weymouth and I really enjoyed it. However, this one only took about 10 minutes to walk around, and I didn't think that the price reflected the small amount of time that you were in there. They did have a cafe with extortionately priced food. I mean, what was there was lovely to see, but I think we paid far too much to go and see it. So anyway, I think that was the opinion of the general populace, because it did close down some years later, and now this part of it that you can actually see, this sea view side, is now a restaurant, and that gets very high reviews, so that's well worth a visit if you're down in Weston-super-Mare. The rear end of it, on the roadside, I don't think is used for anything. Now then, this very imposing Victorian stone-built structure is the Tropicana. Now, the Tropicana, when it was first built, was Weston-super-Mare's Lido, their outdoor swimming pool, where much fun was to be had by all. They had fantastic diving boards, all sorts of, I think they might have had water shoots, but they had all sorts of stuff in there which the visitors absolutely loved. After some years of it being functional, they took all the diving boards out. I believe it was a health and safety thing. And then some years later they just closed it down altogether, because quite frankly it was getting too expensive to maintain it. Now, what happened to the Tropicana was, and still is, a massive bone of contention with many people in Weston-super-Mare. What did happen to it is that they eventually reopened it and turned it into an events venue. We had a Banksy exhibition, Dismaland, if anybody's heard of that. That brought in thousands and thousands of visitors, not just from this country but all over the world. The queues were absolutely massive. I didn't go in myself, I just watched videos. That was enough for me. They also have a fun fair, a little fun fair in there every year. They host Comic-Cons. In the winter they have an indoor ice rink. I think it was the best use of the space. Of course, the contention is that many people want it turned back into an outdoor swimming pool, but what they don't realise is that the regulations for fitting out a swimming pool have changed over the years. What was okay in Victorian times, or whenever it was built, the regulations have changed. That it's not okay anymore. There are many different factors to take into consideration which can't be put into practice in this existing position, but they still go on about it. Every single community page has got somebody banging on about turning the Tropicana back into a swimming pool. It is not legally possible. Let's put an end to that. In front of us just now we have what used to be one of Weston-super-Mare's hospitals. Now, I'll have to do a little bit of research and pop it in a caption to say which hospital it was, because the general hospital was in town. I can't quite recall what this hospital was used for, Well, now it's obviously been turned into apartments, as has the one in town, and we've got a general hospital on the outskirts of town now. Now, just in front here, we have the beach huts. Now, I think these were put there probably about 10 years ago, and people were invited to buy a tenancy for them, and I don't know whether it was for a year, 3 years, 5 years, or whatever. Anyway, another bone of contention. People were paying, I think, up to about £30,000. I could be wrong. I mean, they go for 125 down south. So I've never ever seen anybody in there, but then to be fair, I'm not down the seafront very often. I don't think that people have to pay quite so much these days for them. But that was quite a huge amount of money to pay for somewhere to get changed and have a cup of tea. And we're now coming upon the beach parking area for Weston-super-Mare. It costs quite a lot of money to stay here for a whole day. Can't remember how much. Again, I'll put a caption on to let you know. It's a little bit peoply for me here, so I'm going to try and go back down to the tide line and walk along there, because there's not quite so many people down there. Up over these dunes here, massive expanse of dunes, there is Weston-super-Mare Golf Course, and if you get a mildly windy day, you can see people hang gliding off these dunes. I've always wanted to give that a go, but I really, really value my life. Over there, and you'll be able to see it soon when I get there, there is a yacht club, and today we have many yachts, not many, quite a few yachts going out to have a play. Now, it may come as a surprise for you to hear, I've never seen the yachts out on the water after being here for 35 years, maybe a bit longer. Yeah. And at first I had no idea why I'd never seen them, and then I remembered I usually only come down here out of season, and the reason I come down here out of season is because of the grockles. In Weston and in places down in Cornwall, I believe, grockles are the seasonal visitors. I don't like places that are too peoply. I like places that are very not peoply at all, with public toilets, so you can see why I don't get out much. But that is lovely. So you see the gap that they're sailing across there. You see that tiny little bump there when my camera refocuses. You can, at low tide, walk from this side of the beach over where those cars are parked there. You can walk across to that little bump, and then you can go across to Breen Down, if you're brave enough and if you don't really value your life very much. As I said, people have died. It's not for me. I shan't be doing it. Hello, dog. You look very happy. I like a happy dog. What I don't like is when they let them off the lead and they come bounding up to you and jump all over you. Some people need to keep their animals on a lead. Another bone of contention on our Facebook pages of Weston-super-Mare, and I think it's a very valid one. So now we're coming upon the entrance to what we call Uphill Beach. This is the road entrance just by that red building over there, and I'm in a little bit of a dilemma because the yachting club is up that way. Now I'm having a quick word with my bladder and asking it, can we take you to the yachting club and then back to Uphill Boatyard, where I can have a cup of tea and a wee, or shall I go and have a cup of tea and a wee first and then take you to Uphill Boatyard? We've had quite a severe discussion and my bladder says go for it. What's the worst that can happen? You'll only pee yourself, and then the tide's coming in quite quickly. I can go for a quick waist deep walk in the tide and nobody will know I've pissed myself. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take you up to Uphill Boatyard. Well, I'm no expert, but I think it's going to have to be quite a western super high tide before that one gets back in the water. And there we have the yacht club. Don't look like much, but hey, the stilts keep it out of the water, and I'm sure they're very happy with it, otherwise they would have built another one. Now up here is usually where all the yachts are moored, but obviously there's not going to be quite so many of them as they're all out having fun on the water, the jammy buggers. Oh, there's another one coming down the way. That's a nice looking vessel. Just beyond the yacht club you can see a beautiful view of Uphill Church, and I believe that's a Martello Tower, or is it Martello Tower? Yes, probably. So I'm actually thinking of going down this way, because what's the point in going back the way I've come? I can walk down this path here and I can get to the boatyard and go and get my cup of tea and a wee. So I've seen an awful lot of videos trashing Western Supermare. Now if your idea of fun is staying in a town and wandering around a town, then yeah, I would say Western Supermare has gone downhill a bit, and it's probably not a good place to be wandering around. However, if you like the countryside, all of this, and the seaside, all of this is on your doorstep. So get out of the town and go and look at the beauty that surrounds Western Supermare. And here we have the Uphill Boatyard, where our intrepid sailors park up and fix their boats. I'll get a better view of the fixer-uppers in a minute when I get round there. And here we have the part of the boatyard where all of the fixer-uppers are. Now, as I've said before, I'm no expert, but I think that there are some that are never going to come out of there. Not in one piece anyway. Well, there was pretty easy access to the toilets in here, and there is a massive queue for the counter, so I'm not gonna be waiting in it just to get a cup of tea that I didn't want, that I was only buying because I wanted a wee. But get a look at this loo. I cannot tell a lie, it's one of the nicest toilets I've been in, and yes, I am sat on the loo, having a wee, while I am filming this. I have no shame. And here we have a little campsite right by the boatyard, and there's a little lake down there. Alright, a little pond. I'll see if I can show you it through here, but I can show you it a lot better when I get up top. Because me and my bladder have made an executive decision that we're going up there. But not with that rope. These guys are going the hard way. I'm adventurous, but not that adventurous. And I am going the easy way. I normally go up the hill on the other side of that, which is quite a steep climb. I've never been this way around before, so I'll do the easy bit first, and then I'll see if I can manage not to kill myself coming back down the steep hill by the church. Oh, and here's a better view of the campsite. I'll look up and see how much it is a night. But what a pretty place to stay. I'm just trying to film a little bit of this walk without getting people in it. Obviously I'm not going to be that successful.
These things just never come fast.
And there they were gone. And there's some more. I mean, it's my own fault. You can't expect it not to be peoply in the summer. Keep it up, you're doing well. I'll give him 3 weeks and then he'll be back watching the football with a beer. Some people call me judgmental. I have no idea where that comes from. It smells of nature out here. Oh. So I was on the way up this quite steep hill when I realised that I'd not had anything to drink. For only one reason: I was worried I was going to piss myself. So I've stopped to have a little drink and a little rest, because I got about, I'll show you, this far. Whoa. Where's the path gone? Ah, yes. I got about this far up the hill and realised that that's going to be quite difficult. So in a minute I'm going to walk around a bit and take a slightly less steep incline up the hill. But I just thought I'd sit here and have a look at the view. Over there, where you can see them tiny sails, that's where I've come from. Well, not as far as the boats, obviously, because I would be rather wet. But yeah, that's where I've come from. I've just walked across this land here, up to the boatyard, and then I'm going up there to see if there's any cows to avoid. It's a bloody beautiful day. I can't believe how nice it is, because it's not too hot either. Well, I might not be saying that when I start climbing up a hill, but oh my goodness. If I was a visitor from somewhere else, like a city or something, I would be in awe of this view. Well, I sort of am a little bit. Especially in this weather. I've never had such decent weather. Just slight breeze, not too hot, beautiful views. What more could I ask for? The cows are over there, and thankfully I'm going over there and then up there, so hopefully they're all in one herd and neither of us shall bother each other. And here is our Martello Martello Tower. That's what I think it is. It might not be. I don't know about anybody else, but I can't see a tower without wanting to climb it. And I'm pretty sure you're allowed in this one. So that's what I'm about to do. Oh, fucking hell. Oh, fuck, that hurt. I just went over on a stone, twisted my ankle, twisted my knee. Sit here for a second. Because you see, after an old biking injury, my knees don't bend all the way. So you know you can bend your knees and your feet touch your bum. Well, mine don't do that. I'm pretty certain that just happened. So I'm going to give myself a second. Yeah, I know, the shoes didn't help. That hurt my knee. My ankle don't feel too bad right now. But this knee is distinctly unhappy. Let's get up. Ooh, there's the offending stone. Actually, I feel okay. Oh, that wasn't any fun. Maybe climbing up here will be more fun. Oh, right, this is really sad. You see on these, there were brass plaques on every one of these telling you where you were looking out to and what the distance was to get there. And some thieving little bastard has been up here and taken them to weigh them in. I bleeding hate people like that. Well, that's been a bigger downside to this walk than just nearly breaking my leg. Little bastards. Anyway, calm. It's a lovely place to do a walk around. Now then, there's the pier. And I started, let me see if I can zoom in. I started, ooh, where's it gone? Where's my finger? Oh, there it is, it's too big. Haha, I started over there. As you can see, the tide has come in. That don't take too long. I think that we've got the fastest rise and fall of a tide anywhere in Europe. I don't know if it's the world, but I'm fairly certain it's Europe. If not, it's definitely the UK. So that's the tide pretty much all the way in. If I wanted to go back that way, which I might do, then I could do it walking. Oh, sorry. And then I could do it walking in the water. But there's Old Weston-super-Mare Town Centre. That in the centre there is the college, which I showed you right at the beginning of the journey. I'll try and go very slowly. Oh, let's get out of zoom. Not that far out. Okay. That there, I believe, is Hutton. Over there in the distance, we have Glastonbury Tor. A little bit closer, we have Brent Knoll. And I believe over there, that there is Hinkley Point. So it's a blooming good place to have a look around. And there's the church that I'm going to make my way down to in a minute. So here we are entering the grounds of the ancient uphill church, and I'm going to try and look at the ground as well as film, because we all know what happens when you're not looking where you're going. I'm doing this for you. I hope you appreciate it. My knee's alright now. So is my ankle. Blimey, it hurt though when I first went down. Things like that I need to look out for. Ah, great. It's unencumbered by live people. That pleases me. Somebody is still putting flowers on these old graves. Oh, actually, they're plastic. I mean, no detriment or anything, but I thought that they were actually putting fresh flowers on there. That's some poor lady who passed away in 1973. Patricia Margaret and Betty May, both aged 38 years, suddenly taken in an air disaster. Oh, oh. This looks like a newer one. Doesn't say when he passed away. These, I think all these people's ancestors are also long gone. I wish I had the money. I would definitely come to places like this and just try and tidy them up. That undoubtedly had a cross on it at one point. Oh, hello, there it is. I used to come here with my daughter when she was a lot younger. We used to play look for the oldest grave. Again, no expert, but I think that that one there might be one of them. Yep, I'd say that's a contender. There's no roof on the church. Again, if I had the money, I'd just come up here and just put it all back together again. Because I hate when old things are falling down and gone derelict. I understand that obviously there ain't the money to do it, but I think more people who have got money should be looking at the history of the country and ploughing it into putting things like this back to the way they were. It'd be good for the community because people will come up here and visit it. Not that they don't. I mean, this is a regular walk for many Westonians, but wouldn't it be great if that was all restored back to its former glory? They could use it as a church again, or they could charge a little bit for going into it and having a look around and seeing the history. At the moment it's literally more or less a ruin. There's some newer graves over there. I guess there's not much room for newer graves because it's a very small graveyard. See, this guy died in 1879, but he lived to the ripe old age of 78 years. Maishui's widow died in 1901, aged 77 years. So she was considerably younger than him. You do the maths. I've been stung on my big toe. Well, I've probably stood in on a thistle or something, and that's actually causing me more bother than my knee and my ankle, which I'm very pleased about. Whatever's gone in there can be taken out with tweezers. Oh, real flowers. So, which family is this then? Well, that's still not that recent. And they've put a nice vase on there. How lovely. Oh, 2000 is more recent. They're going to have to get a new headstone when they pass away, because there's not enough room on it for them. Just imagine them all in there playing Twister on party night. This is a fabulous place. See, oh, they've got a few closed. It's always closed. Well, every time I come up here it's closed anyway. Got a few headstones that they've kept inside. It's still a consecrated building. Whit Sunday until the 30th of September, but never when I'm here. Anyway, I love it. I wish I could see the insidey bits, but I don't think there's anywhere where you can peek inside. Well, of the bit that's got a roof anyway. Yeah, you're not going to see anything through there, apart from the other window. Anyway, I digress. I've forgotten which way I go to get out. I think it's down this path here. Try not to walk on any formerly alive people. Oh, I love that it's so quiet. Oh, bugger, somebody's coming. So this was supposed to be the end of my walk today, down this massively steep hill. This is a hill that I would normally come up, but I decided I wasn't up for that today. I'm going to take it slowly, because if I fall, I'm going to be down in those edges before I stop rolling. Yes, anyway, it was supposed to be the end of my walk, getting down here. There's a little car park just down the road. So I texted the Hobbit and asked him what the chances were of a lift home. And he hasn't got back to me, but then he did go out with his mother doing some shopping, and that usually takes 2 or 3 hours, and as he dropped me off 2 hours ago, I can't really expect him to be home yet. So I'm going to take a little walk through uphill and just keep going until I get a text back from him, and then he can come and pick me up, because I really don't want to walk through town. I hate walking through town, and that is my optimum route to get back to my house. So that's the end of that, unless I see something interesting in uphill, which I might do. There are some nice old buildings, like that rooftop there. Just there is the rooftop of an old pub, and there's a few rows of quite old houses, you might be able to see there. They're fairly old, but mostly, as you can see, they're new builds. Well, I say new builds, they're probably a good 60 years old, some of them, 70, 80 years old, but they're not as old as that. And I like old things, which is why I like my Hobbit. I'll just quickly add that the Hobbit being old is not the only reason I like him. I like him for a million different reasons. Well, 5 or 6 at least. But this is a tour of the nicer side of Weston-super-Mare and not a love note to my husband.
As it turns out, Uphill was quite an interesting little place. I'll maybe do a video about it another time. Thanks so much for watching, if you've managed to get this far, and if you could, please give me a like, subscribe, and please leave a comment. Bye bye now.